Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mindset Manifesting Business Show. We have this gorgeous Dina-Marie with us today, who is such a special human. She has literally broken the mold, told society to look the other way. She's doing business her way. So I would love to introduce you to her. Just a quick couple of words on what Dina does. She has been a nomad for 10 years, a professional coach for 5. She empowers entrepreneurs to stop trading time for money and build businesses that align with their wildest dreams of freedom and impact. How beautiful. Dina-Marie, please introduce yourself and tell us all the wonderful things that you have done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I love the show, so I'm really glad to be on the show and to be a guest. I own a coaching and consulting company / movement called Way of the Founder, where we help disillusioned professionals break free, like you said, from societal norms and expectations and heal from them. You can't just break free. You have to build what I call a freedom mindset in order to then turn around and build a life that is agency first, that puts freedom first and puts your purpose and the impact you want to have in the world through your business first, and helps you build the life of your dreams, like you said. How did I get here? Well, I started on the stage. Well, it's what I started. I was born and raised in Germany, and I always say my first coaches and mentors were the characters that I got to slip into while doing musical theater for 11 years, a career that later led to doing orchestra management behind the stage, in front of the stage, next to the stage, helping fundraise for orchestras in the United States. So I became an expat and began living a very nomadic life as I moved to the United States now over 10 years ago. And by the time I had landed my dream job in Los Angeles, that dream job turned into a bit of a nightmare quite quickly. Oof. And when I looked around and saw my colleagues and my bosses' lives, the lives they were living, the conversations they were having, the salary they were having, I was like, I want none of y'all's business or life. I don't want it. So I better not stay here and wait for my life to turn into y'all's life. I don't want that. So I have to make a change. And that's really, we're writing 2018, 2019 at this point. That's why I begin to ask myself these deep questions. Well, if a career in orchestra management is not who I am, not what I do, but who I am, identity, then who am I? And what do I do? And what does make me happy? If it's not a resume, what does make me happy? What is the source of true fulfillment? And the long story short is I was offered the expat's golden ticket. Here's a raise, and we'll take care of your legal fees for your next visa. We'll sponsor your visa, and also, please, here's a promotion. We love you. Please stay. I put in my notice the next day, and I booked a one-way ticket to Vietnam and started building my business while on the road. That's the short of it, of a very convoluted, deep, and long, exciting, terrifying, impactful, and always purpose-driven story.
Yeah, it's always terrifying, I think, when you go against the norm. What are people going to think of me? Will they judge me? Will it work? Will I be embarrassed? Right? All the things when you go against the norm, super terrifying. Yeah. So it's so lovely to know that you just decided, which is so great with mindset, decided this is what I want, and you just booked your ticket. That is so exciting. That is so exciting. So have you traveled multiple places? So you said you started out in Vietnam. Where did you go from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out in Vietnam, and I do want to say one thing. It wasn't a happy decision. It was a very necessary decision accompanied with a nervous breakdown, right? Because there's this dream job, this dream career that you worked your booty off for, in my case, 10 years just to get there. It wasn't an easy decision. And like you said, there's a real defiance of societal family expectations that is not hard to juncture up and to go, I don't care what my boss thinks. I know this is going to make my mom really unhappy and disappointed. I know my colleagues will think that I'm throwing away something and that I'm getting lazy, right? There's a lot of, okay, well, I can't put my self-worth outside anymore, and I have to learn how to bring this back inside. So yeah, booking that ticket was definitely nerve-wracking, I'll say that. And it's okay if, for anyone listening to this, putting in your notice is nerve-wracking. It's okay. Even if this is what you want, it's okay. You are letting go of an identity. You are shedding that skin. So back to your question.
Yeah. No, so as the letting go of the identity, I think, is super scary, because it's all you know, right? You know the behaviors, you know the thoughts, you know the beliefs of a particular identity. And I also think, like, you're just booking a one-way ticket. That's like Tony Robbins saying, burn the ships, right? Get your island, burn the ship, so that you, like, I need to make it work. Let's go. Let's make this work. Yeah,
very much.
That's awesome. So how would you say your journey as a nomad shaped your approach to business and coaching and all of that?
Well, I would say in my personal life, there were two distinct phases of nomading. One is, oh, I'm traveling to run away. And that works for a while. That sense of escaping family trauma, that sense of, I know I probably should heal from everything that happened when my parents got divorced and I was 3 years old, right? But traveling was really convenient and very proper looking way of not looking at that, shoving it in a box back home in Germany and just exploring, right? And I literally moved further and further and further away from home, and that became like a slingshot almost for me, and a reverse slingshot, so to say, right? And at some point I had to sort of rein in the second phase of traveling, which was no longer using travel to run away, to escape, to try and ignore and numb myself, but to use traveling as an embodiment of an inner journey, of a journey back home to myself. And this might look the exact same way on the outside, but it feels very different on the inside. I look at travel as a way to explore all of the different corners of my heart and my mind. I look at it as a way to, because when you travel, you're constantly in different cultures. You're constantly interacting with people who have a completely different way of interacting and communicating, right? So you constantly bump up against, oh, who am I? Because it's easy to assimilate, but it's harder to go, what's my anchor inside? I don't have a home right now by choice, right? So what's the anchor? What's the home inside myself where I can literally go home to? So over time, if you let it, I believe both business, entrepreneurship in particular, and traveling becomes a mirror to your soul. And you get to navigate the journey away from your conditioned self back home to your authentic self. And I found that to be terrifying, rewarding, and for my business, incredibly helpful. Because I want my business. The main reason why I left my job is because I felt as though I had to put on a filter, right? And speak like it was appropriate to speak as a fundraiser and, you know, slip into someone else's strategy that I didn't quite agree with. I don't want to replicate that in my business. So the only way to build something inside my business that I truly believe in and that therefore sells is for me to first, you know, sort of embrace that inner journey. So nomading has been extremely healing for me, but not always from the point where I allowed it to be, you know, part therapy and a real source of healing.
Yeah, sure. And I think as well, you saying every single place you go to, people are doing things differently. They're thinking about things differently. They are experiencing life differently. And for you, as the traveler, I think to have such an open mind so that judgment doesn't come in, right? I think it's so easy for people to judge another culture when they don't understand it. So I think that freedom of having an expansive mind and an openness just to learn and to feel the different energies around money and culture and food and bodies and all the things. I think it's so special to have the courage to do that and not to have yourself in your little world and this is how we think and this is how we do things and everyone else does human wrong. I think that's really beautiful, that expansion. So you do talk about the freedom mindset. What does that mean to you? That phrase can mean so many different things, but to you, what does freedom mindset mean? And why do you think that would be essential for an entrepreneur who is seeking location independent businesses?
Yeah. So at Way of the Founder, when I help people build their freedom businesses, I sort of run through a 5-step framework. And there are 2 steps that are very much connected to what I call the freedom mindset. One is defy and define, and the other is healing. So let's look at defiance, right? There's a certain mindset that society, as we are born into this world, go to kindergarten, go to middle school, high school, college if you do go, and then of course as you get traditional jobs, there's a certain mindset that society trains us to embody. For girls, be a good girl. For men, be a strong man, right? Be decisive, right? So
don't cry. I hate that.
Yes. So there are all of these expectations, right? And for me personally, and everybody listening sort of has to run this through their own filter based on the culture and society they were raised inside of. But I was raised by a mom who used to live in the former East Germany. There was very little freedom politically, socially, also physically as to where they were allowed to travel, right? So I was told to not defy for myself, but to rebel against everyone around me. I was also told that there is security in getting a job and sticking with the job for the rest of my life, right? So as we build our own entrepreneurial lives and tap into the freedom business, we have to shed that skin. That's one part.
Right.
The other part is you have to define. You have to look at, well, okay, well, if not that, if my success doesn't sit on a resume, then where does it sit? Where my body does it sit, right? So there's a sense of you get to rebuild. And you have to be really intentional about what it is that you're building, because chances are, if you're feeling stuck, you haven't been intentional. You've been driven by outside pressure to go towards a goal, but you've not been soul driven in where it is that you're going. You haven't allowed yourself to ask, well, what would be the perfect day for your soul? Maybe you've asked yourself, how can you be most productive? So you have to begin to ask new questions in order to begin to, again, define and envision who you want to be, not what you want to do. That comes second, and that comes naturally out of really leaning into who you want to be. But then the third prong to freedom mindset is healing.
Yes.
If you haven't healed your mother wound, you can't build a soul-aligned business. If you haven't reconciled your daddy issues and your relationship with your father, you cannot build a soul-aligned, freedom-based business. If you haven't healed from sexual assault that may have happened to you in the past, you can't hope to show up freely to a sales conversation in your business. So those are the 3 layers. The defiance is typically really easy. Like clients, when they come to me, they already got this. They know what they want to get away from.
Yes.
The second layer is the defining. It gets a little harder because you want to break out of the box. You don't want to box yourself back into. That's why I'm saying you have to ask new questions. And then the third layer is your family trauma. The third layer is, what are the beliefs that you picked up about yourself as a child that are still running the show on your business without chosen? Hi.
There we go. I can hear you.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I think that was my internet connection.
Don't even worry, it's fine. Ours drops all the time. Yeah, I really love that. Especially where you bring it all in with healing of family wounds, right? Ancestral wounds, all those beliefs that just, it was almost dumped on us when we were born and we just accepted it as truth. So it's finding your new truth and really questioning the truth of others. Is this true? Is this what we believe true for the whole world? Or is it just our family dynamic? That is so powerful, so powerful. So you help people uncover and unravel all of this in the way of the founder, right? Is that's where they can find the answers. Okay, get to Dina-Marie.
Well, they can find the answers inside themselves, but I guide them to the answers.
But you are going to guide them, right? Yes. No, you're totally going to guide them. Okay, so clearly not all businesses are meant to take on the road and to travel and pack it up in a little duffel bag and off you go with your laptop. What key changes would you say if someone is really curious and they're like, oh, that sounds like something my soul is itching to do? What would the changes and the pivots have to be for entrepreneur to change it into this location independent business instead of stuck at your desk in one spot?
Oh, my favorite question. Absolutely. So let's run through three really important things, and that is your purpose, how you connect with your community, and the structure of your offers. So typically the moment you utter, oh, I may want to travel as a nomad, as an expat, the internet floods your timeline with build a business so you can travel to Bali. And this is the hill that I will die on. If the purpose of your business is to travel to Bali, you have a huge problem. You're going to burn out and you're not going to sell because the purpose of your business is much too small. So travel, your ideal lifestyle, may and should determine how you bring your value as a business owner into the world, but it can't be the sole reason why you build a business. And a lot of people sort of get stuck there. So allow yourself to expand your purpose. Which problems are you solving? How are you solving these problems? And why does this matter? So just quickly going back to freedom mindset, if you look at defy, define, and then you're healing, what happens is you build agency for yourself. Well, now take that a step further and look at what is the change you want to see in the world that you want your business to be a vessel of. Let's think big. And I always say, if Elon Musk can use his billions to change a whole world, I can use my thousands, my tens of thousands, my millions to also put my stake in the ground and say, this is the change that I want to contribute to. Yes. So travel determines how you deliver your offer, nothing else. It can determine the fact that you become a business owner. Now, whether you're starting out as a business owner or already have a business and you feel stuck, chained almost to your desk, the next thing is that you want to look at is your offers, the structure of your business. A lot of us in the online service space, we begin with one-on-one clients, which is such a beautiful space, right? It's an intimate space. It's a space where I get to know you and we can go really deep, but it's not sustainable. And the quality of the one-on-one coaching I offer will diminish the more one-on-one clients I take on. So financially, energetically, it's not scalable and not sustainable. And that only gets amplified when you travel through the world, and then we have different time zones and you have to cultures.
I was just saying the different time zones can mess everything up. Yes. And it can drain you, right? Yes.
And this is very much a lesson I had to learn the very hard way, because I was burning the candle on both sides, waking up at 6 for a 6:30 a.m. call and being late at night for a midnight call. And now try and be creative. and now try and
Yeah.
get more clients, and now try and do some
Oh my
marketing,
God.
right? It doesn't
Yeah.
work.
No, sure.
So
Yeah.
for those who are just starting, having a small, no-brainer priced audience builder offer that solves a problem that you care about, and have a high-ticket one-on-one offer that you can fill up until 50% of your time is packed. Now you have the money, the testimonials, the social proof, the experience to create content, to create more offers. You do want to start there, but do not fill up your time with one-on-one clients. If,
Yeah.
however, you're like, oh no, I've been doing this for 5 years, I just feel fucking chained to my desk, Dina, what do I do? Look for the common denominators. Go back to purpose. What is the problem that you're solving? Great. Now decipher, when are you coaching versus when are you teaching? Every time you teach, you can use that as an opportunity to bring that into an evergreen course, to bring it into one-to-many container, right? So you want to elevate your private coaching, private teaching spaces so that you can introduce a one-to-many space. And then underneath that, you want to introduce multi-tiered courses, and by that I mean courses that are, you know, anywhere between $30 and $1,000 that solve amazing problems that you know your clients have at every step of your client journey. So your structure, essentially put into a sentence, you have to diversify your offers so that this is the point of this, so that you can serve while your laptop is shut. You have to stop being the bottleneck. And then thirdly, the same applies to how you connect and grow your audience. Have to set up the systems, content, such that your content can grow your audience and sell on your behalf, again, while the laptop is shut. So you want to look at how can people opt into your world without you being there? Is there an email list that ascends people towards a paid offer? Is there a long form content product like a podcast or YouTube or a blog that you offer where people can really gain trust in you, in your brand, in your expertise? And can people just sort of sit there lurking? And when they do choose to want to buy from you, can they buy without you being online?
Yeah. Clicking a link and off you go, right.
Exactly. Yeah. So as you get these things, purpose, connection, and structure into place, within 6 months, you should be able to see that you can remove yourself from your business and your business keeps growing while you're a little removed. But most importantly, can you sell without being online, and can you serve asynchronously?
Wow. That is so refreshing almost, right? Just to really
tell me why.
Setting up your business so that you can step away. For me, it was so important not to work after a specific time of the day because I want to be with my kids. I want them to be able to take them to their sports events, at the dentist, and all the things, right? Before they were even born, that was in my vision. Like, I do not want to be tied down. And I think business owners forget that they have the choice to structure the business any way they want to.
Absolutely.
So you were saying getting people into your audience on your email list. Would you use purely organic marketing, or would you then bring in some adverts, paid adverts, to help you shut your laptop down?
Yeah, so I currently don't run any paid advertisement for my business at all, but it is on the list within the next 6 months. The short answer to it is yeah, absolutely. Bring in paid advertisement. That's just more eyes on your content. But first, make sure that you're clear on your message. Make sure that you're clear on who you are, who you're talking to, and why the problem that you solve matters to yourself, to your clients, and to the world, right? So this has to be locked in first. Don't hire someone to do your social media. Figure out what it is that you want to say. figure out what the message is that you want to bring into the world. And as you begin to see that you're gaining traction, you're getting really good engagement, meaningful engagement, not just great post, but like, oh my gosh, this really hit home for me. I can't believe how deeply this resonates. Once you're at this point, absolutely. Find a way to grow your audience. And some of it can be very strategic, but organic, like podcasting. I think it's one of the most beautiful ways to organically and quickly grow your audience. But then once you have your messaging locked in, absolutely. Like there isn't a big company in the world that makes big change that doesn't have an advertising budget. But why shouldn't we as small business owners do the same thing?
Sure. But don't jump in if you don't have all the other little ducks in the row, because you're just going to waste money. That's just like, you can put that in your back pocket.
Will, yeah. And also, you know, ideally paid advertisement brings in a lot of people. So you have to have the system set up for people to pay without you being online and for people to be served without you being online, right? So yeah, you have to do some groundwork in order to, you know, you have to build the hotel first, and then you can run the ads to get people into the hotel.
Right. So I just want to be super clear for everyone listening. This is what Dina-Marie does in the way of the founder. She helps you with all the things so that you can stop worrying about it and you just follow a system. Okay, I love that. Okay, for everybody watching and listening, Dina-Marie is giving away a 3-minute quiz. This is for free, people. It is 3 minutes. It is 3 minutes. We all got time for 3 minutes. This is what the quiz is going to do for you. It's going to help you with structure, systems, and the mindset you need to create freedom in business. So it's so awesome. Take the quiz to see where your business is holding you hostage. I have dropped the link in the description below. Go and grab it. Another wonderful thing that Dina-Marie is offering is a masterclass. It is a $29 masterclass. It's called the Freedom Leap. What are you going to be doing? It's an approach to quit, thrive, and create freedom while still working your 9 to 5. Dina-Marie, please can you explain a little bit more on this masterclass to entice this deliciousness a little bit more?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So where the quiz is for entrepreneurs who feel stuck in their current business, the Freedom Leap Masterclass is for those of you who are currently remotely or at a cubicle employed, and you hate the freaking guts of your boss and you can't wait to get out, but you're tired of pyramid schemes and you don't want to be an influencer. You want to build a business that matters to you, that supports your ideal lifestyle, and that matters to the community that you want to serve. And this is the masterclass that I wish someone had given me when I was there 2018, 2019, trying to figure it out. So we dive into the mindset shifts that you need to make to become an entrepreneur inside out. And then I take you through like, hey, let's take away all of the fluff. You don't have to get to 1,000 or 1 million followers on Instagram. You just need to have this one offer and this one strategy to create your first 5 clients so that then you can grow and scale. And my goal with the masterclass is to help people get set up with the right priorities and steps to quit within 6 months. Granted, you're willing to put in the work.
100%. It's quite an important step. It's that action step after the mindset and the shifting and the healing. Let's take some aligned action, right? Not just fluffy action, really proper action. If anybody wants to get hold of Dina-Marie, her socials are dropped below, her Instagram and her thread handles. Thank you so much. What a wonderful breath of fresh air you are. I love
thank you.
I love your free spirit. I think it is absolutely heartwarming, and the energy that you bring to really wanting to help is beautiful. It's bliss. It really is. It's absolutely, it shows, and how you care really comes across, and I just absolutely love that about you. Thank you so much for your time and your guidance. So welcome, so welcome, so welcome.
And I just want to say real quick, Yvette, it takes one to know one. So the fact that you see how much I care about this work and how truly, genuinely passionate I am about it tells me that you truly are also a fellow entrepreneur who's leading from the soul, who cares about their community. And for that, I want to thank you as well.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. Everybody, go and believe in your magic and build businesses that thrive, but a thriving business that is so aligned with your soul's purpose that you wake up with a smile on your face every day. Okay, everybody, lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye.